So first, we'll start with public comment. If anybody is here and would like to speak, please come on up to the podium.
You actually turn that counter on so I have an idea what my time is.
Yes, we will. Once you start, we don't want to start early.
Hold on, let me get my page here.
Those 10 seconds are
Oh,
used
and then
against
just
you.
also,
Yeah, right.
is it on our agenda, the Legacy Hills?
No.
Okay.
No, it's off.
Okay. My name is Jeff Axt, 3821 Crest Lake Drive. I'm also HOA president of Woodcrest Lakes Homeowners Association. I'm here because there was last week the possibility of an agenda item about Legacy Hills Condominium Association requesting an approved site plan for a development that occurred in 2016. That site plan was, they've pulled that request to come before your board for approval on that site plan because of irregularities in the documentation that we uncovered. I'm here because I'm expecting that they're going to come back again. Just a brief history. In 2016, it was a pretty contentious development in which an agreement was forged between the neighboring community and the builder to allow for a conservation easement and certain setbacks and non-disturbance lines. In 2019, prior to the developer handing over the association to the development to the association, they asked for enlarged decks. Two of your members here on the board were sitting then as in different positions, voted no on that because of basically the contention of what was negotiated, but they got that approval in 2019 for enlarged decks. In June of this year, they've come back and asked for increased patio sizes, and they withdrew their petition then for an as-built site plan. Again, this is not something that has been finalized. Their site plan hasn't been actually formally turned over and approved by the township. So that's why they're asking for as-built. As-built is not conforming to the original site plan. In June, they pulled that application because they didn't provide the correct documentation. They came back again, and it was supposed to be on the agenda this month at this meeting, and we found out that, and I found out that they are encroaching within the setbacks and on the conservation easement. Now, I suspect they'll come back again, but at what point does the township require the developer to put in actual documents that are accurate, because they're engineering drawings that are now proved to be inaccurate. But what's most concerning is the conservation easement that was fiercely negotiated, a 4-acre parcel to the west, has been encroached. That's a trespass. So regardless of what the developer plans to do going forward, with another stab at this to get this site plan approved, there's a current encroachment on a conservation easement, which is a trespass, and I'm hoping that the township will, it doesn't matter what reason there's a drainage pipe or a trespass, that there are right now issues with the conservation easement that are being trespassed upon by the developer and the HOA from this condo association. So I'm looking for action prior to the what's probably the subsequent coming back to get the setbacks on the lines of disturbance increased. So I'm hoping that there can be some interest in that before they come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else like to come up and speak?
Oh, no comment. Back to you? Okay. I'm sorry.
No, just your chance to tell us all of what you think.
Hi, I'm Frances Martins, and I've lived in the township since 1974. On December 2nd, as many of you know, probably all of you know, there was an incident at Temple Bethel, and anti-Semitic commentary as well as racial. I'd like to know what the board thinks about the police action during that situation. Yes, Temple Bethel will be having on this Wednesday night commentary, but most of the people that are there will be probably Jewish. I would like to know what the board thinks about exactly what the police did and how they handled it, and why we're not getting information from them as to the strategies that they use. They might have beautiful strategies. I mean, seriously, they might have something in mind that we're not aware of. But I think the commentary or the communication from the police is not what I would like it to be. So I'd like to have the board, you've got 2 minutes, if you could just give some comments on that, please. Thank you.
We don't handle it that way. We let everybody tell us, and then
Okay, then could you put it on the agenda to be looked at by the board? Let's say, maybe 2 weeks' agenda from now, and have you all look at it and see what you think? Is that a way to do this?
is that the end of your comment? 'Cause
Yeah.
Again, we don't respond to comments, but but do you want to add any more to us? And then
No, could it
once
go-
comment is done, we can start our discussion of, and that might be included in it as well.
Okay, but should it go on the agenda? I mean, can you make it like a line item on the next agenda meeting?
Again, is that your comment?
Yes,
Okay,
I'd like
thank
you to
you.
do that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to join us for public comment? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. Before we go into that, as was mentioned, there is an event. It is a register-only event, because again, this is for our Jewish community to learn about what has happened and how we've worked together with the Federation, the Jewish Federation and the Jewish Community Security. I'm guessing, I wasn't the only non-lawyer, non-law enforcement person that watched videos, and we don't understand the laws quite as well. I thought there was a trespass. There's not. I thought it was a traffic stop. It was not. So that is why we've put out Coffee with Carrie to help explain to people. There have been actually a lot of media relations over the last week that anybody can look up on 247, all of them, where we try and explain how when you're de-escalating a situation, how you behave, and also how, frankly, whether we want it to happen a certain way or not, the Constitution protects people of all. I think somebody just quoted a judge that said the Constitution is what we follow, and that's what our officers did. However, we are working with the Federation on ways we can improve communications going forward. Again, that's why we're focused right now with the Jewish community, who is the most affected. But if anybody else would like to go on our website, they can look at Coffee with Carrie, and Chief Gallagher spent about a half hour talking about this event. You can go on 247, and any of them, and look up some of the times that Chief Gallagher has been online talking about this. That can help explain, the laws that what they did. Some people have called it a traffic stop. It was not a traffic stop. There were no traffic laws broken. So I know some people were very frustrated that he didn't need to prove ID, but it wasn't a traffic stop. Again, these are things that us that are not lawyers, us that are not law enforcement, we see something on social media and we jump on it, and we don't always have all the information. However, this was a man who came to attack our community. And let's focus on the fact that there is hate out there. It is exponentially on the rise, and we need to protect our community. So that is why we've been working with the Jewish Federation on how we can protect ourselves going forward, how we can better communicate, like I said, and thank goodness we have representatives to help us with that. We have 3 representatives here on the board who are able to connect us even better with that community. We have had a strong relationship with the Jewish Federation for decades. They've sent officers to Israel. We have trips that we take to the to the Holocaust Museum. There already was one scheduled for January, because there just was one about a month or so ago. So I know some people think that there's not a connection. There's a very strong connection with the police and the Jewish Federation, as well as the community. And I would suggest that anybody who isn't aware of, like myself, who's not a lawyer, not a law enforcement officer, and is still unsure of why things were played out the way they were, I would highly suggest watching Coffee with Carrie and the Chief. I would highly suggest watching some of the videos and media relations that Chief has done. Or we also will be able to, we are recording the event for those that are not able to attend at Temple Bethel, so that can be given out as well. But I think it's one thing to see in today's society when people are quick to fight and you see people being pulled down to the ground and fights happen. I can't explain those kind of things away. And I certainly am glad that I didn't have to, because our officers did not respond and take the bait. So I'm thankful that, in my mind, I'm not speaking for the board, I'm speaking as myself. I am thankful that that did not escalate and the man was home. I cannot tell you about all the different things that they do. An example would be if you knew that every time somebody called in a bank robbery, every car went there, a robber will call on that bank and go rob another. There's a reason that you and I are not allowed to know all the techniques that the police use, because then it's very easy for the criminals to know all the techniques that the police use. But when that man was a threat, we did continue to work through the day. Although what he did on site was not trespassing, and he had a different demeanor on site than he did later when we all saw what the officers did not see, which was all of the social media. That's when he went down that path, and we were able to catch him doing something that we could actually take to the prosecutor's office, and it was taken on Friday night. I know some people thought we didn't do anything until Sunday when the prosecutor's office finally ruled on what we gave them on Friday, and I'm thankful that they did. But our officers, a lot of us were here Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, until we knew that it was done. And this man was, we knew where he was. I cannot tell you how we knew all this, but the Jewish Federation was able to tell all of their people that there was no imminent danger. We were able to tell that. We just cannot tell you why. And that's to protect you from future criminals. And again, I understand the frustration because I am not a lawyer. I am not a law enforcement officer, so I had the same assumptions. It is on us to learn why they did what they did and learn why. The media has been very kind to both sides for a reason. The community has been kind to both sides for a reason. And it's on us to learn, why wasn't that a trespass? Well, because it was a public access in a private area. Why didn't you have to show ID? It was not a traffic stop. So sometimes it's very quick and easy to jump on everything you see on social media. I know a lot of people commenting on our thread are not even from the state of Michigan. So it definitely reaches a lot of people, but I don't want to minimize the fact that a man came to attack our people. He came to attack our community, and the fear that our Jewish community feels on a daily basis is on the rise. That is the most important thing, and that is what we're going to fight to try and prevent in the future. And that I'm so thankful to the Jewish Federation for everything they have done with us. So I apologize I didn't have anything prepared. I hope that made sense. And again, that was just from me. That is not speaking on behalf of the board. I don't know if anybody else wants to take a moment to speak to the public. I'm willing to offer that time.
So I want to echo the supervisor's sentiments, but I'd also like to say that in addition to my service on the board here at the township, I'm also on the board of Jewish Community Security, which is a nonprofit company that was formed through the Federation to take over all of the security, the physical security of our community assets citywide. And that's a board that I'm very proud to serve on. I previously served on the ADL, which is the Anti-Defamation League Regional Board, and that's how I got involved with community security. I'd be happy to talk to anybody, any resident, at any time about what took place and how our team responded, our police, our leadership team, so, you know, and as Danny said, Chief Gallagher has had several public opportunities to address the situation and the police response. This coming Wednesday will be a community event. It is not just restricted to the Jewish community, but as Danny said, for security reasons, you do have to register with your information, but it is not required. That's what I have. This is an issue that I take very seriously and have taken very seriously, and I want the community to know that, you know, I feel very strongly that the township really responded, and we got the guy, and he's facing some serious charges.
I totally agree with what Danny had said. Well stated, by the way, and heartfelt and very accurate. I really, first of all, most people know I'm also, besides an attorney, I'm a psychologist, And there was no question about it that this individual did everything possible to bait the police department and the police officers. And I have to commend them for not taking the bait, for trying to defuse the situation. And I'm certainly very proud of our police department, and I think they did an exemplary job under very, very trying and difficult circumstances. It could have gone the other direction. We've seen too many cases in the past, well, in Detroit in the past couple of weeks and around the country, where the police departments, they do not diffuse the situation, especially when you have a mentally ill individual. And unfortunately, they end up being shot, wounded, or killed. And that didn't happen here. So they were on top of it. As Danny said, we can't say how they were able to monitor what was going on with the individual, but they were. And nobody was physically injured. So again, I have nothing but great things to say about our department. Our chief has been out there communicating on our website, on the news stations. There's going to be another event on Wednesday, which will be very helpful, where he will be there along with Prosecutor Karen McDonald and Jewish Federation and Anti-Defamation League representatives. So certainly opportunities to speak about this, and it's certainly a concern for everybody in our community, and it's something that we all take very seriously.
I guess I would only ask, I guess, number one, concur with everything that's been said. And I guess, number two, there's always lessons to be learned in almost every aspect of what happened here. And I would just suggest to the general community that, we always hear and see, when you see something, say something. And unfortunately, in this situation, the security guard at the temple did an excellent job, and he called dispatch. No one else at the scene called 911. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just suggesting that, when we're involved in a situation that we think is compromised, is dangerous, that's what 911 is about. And I think as we go on, we're going to hopefully all learn a lot more, where, again, there may be room for improvement. And I think there's also going to be a lot of areas where we can be very proud of what happened and what didn't happen. And again, move forward stronger. It is very difficult for all of us this time of year to, we're focused on the holidays and good things, and this kind of hate is spewing. And, while we may see it nationally, we may see it in different areas, we don't expect it to see it at our front door. And this clearly was at our front door. And this isn't just really an attack on, it is an attack on Jews, but it's an attack on freedom, I think, in general. And we have a lot of minorities and a lot of communities that live in Bloomfield and, that have echoed those same concerns. So I think this is an opportunity where we all have to come together and really work to root out hate. And maybe the best way to do that is, quite frankly, to be kinder to each other, and just not allow it to enter. Because we're not going to end people that have that kind of hate, but maybe to make it us more comfortable in terms of living together, just to quite frankly, to share the concern that you're sharing, and I think we all appreciate that. And the community has reached out in many ways to us as board members, and we do appreciate and listen to every single person. And believe me, it's reflected in our conversation at the various levels that we're dealing with. So thank you.
Thank you. No. Anybody else here for public comment? Oh, that's right, I already closed that, I'm sorry. Sorry, this threw me out. It's been a rough week for our township.
Do that.